Is it recording? All right, guys, welcome. As you guys know, on the name of the video, it says, I believe in predestination. Um, you guys probably have a lot of questions, and you're like, what? Dennis believes in predestination. That's crazy. But, guys, I just want you guys to listen to the video. We're going to be actually talking about it because it was actually said in the sermon yesterday. So, guys, just stay tuned. God bless, and cue the video. All right, welcome back. All right, guys, I believe in predestination. That's nuts, huh?
Oh man. Oh, here we go again.
Okay, so guys, here's the thing. There's a lot of skeptics, and everyone's saying, what's predestination? Like, whenever somebody says predestination, everyone has this huge theory behind it.
Huge theory.
Huge theory. So, me and Paul were just talking before the podcast started. By the way, new name. We're the Wall Podcast. 10-minute Thursday. So the Wall
Whoa.
Podcast now. We changed the name, new logo, new everything. We're gonna get
I'm
everything
loving it.
done. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Good job, Dennis.
No, thank you to the boys, to the wall. What are you guys called? The media crew. So, anyways, so back to our topic, really quick.
Yep.
We're just gonna continue because that's not really important. Just want to let you guys know. So into believing that I am predestined, right?
Right.
So what does that mean? So we're all predestined to go somewhere, right? That's apparently what they say.
Apparently.
So the reason I believe in predestination, this is how it is. Predestination only has effect whenever you're under God's will.
Okay.
So, for example, you're under God's will, correct? And
Right.
that's when you're only predestined to go somewhere.
Okay.
You guys can go get that. Tell him that we're a little busy. We're running a video. So, predestination only involves whenever you're under God's will, right?
Right.
And whenever you're not under God's will, you have free will.
Okay.
So, predestination doesn't apply to you in that sense.
Okay.
So,
Interesting.
So whenever, for example, a lot of people have like the predestination, they're like, oh, we're predestined from the very beginning. I don't believe that.
Huh.
I don't believe that. I believe that whenever you're under God's will, you are then predestined because then you're listening to the Holy Spirit. Then you're followed by God's hand and all these things, and He's already predestined you to do something and to be somewhere, and that's heaven. So, because Pastor was talking about it, and he brought up multiple Bible verses, multiple stories,
Explaining it really well.
And he brought me another question. He said the guy on the cross, what's the guy's name? The robber or whatever who is. He said, what about him? No, the other guy, the guy that was hanging with Jesus. So he said, what about him? He was never led by anyone or anything. He wasn't predestined. I was like, I don't know. That's whenever you're already under God's will and you're following Him, then that only applies. So basically, I wouldn't say that I believe in predestination. I believe in that word. So predestination only is that word. Like I use that word right there and then.
I would change it a little bit. I mean, because that word draws a lot of attention to a different theory.
Mhm.
I would more like say it's destined.
Predestined?
Well, almost. So like so we can read in Matthew 7, verse 13 and 14. It talks about entering the narrow gate, right?
Mhm.
For the wide gate and broad is the way that leads to destruction. So we see here that there's these two roads, right?
Yeah.
And if you walk on the little one, the narrow path, it leads you, one direction.
Yeah.
You walk this like broad, this wide path, it leads you a different way. And many walk that road, right?
Mhm.
So it kind of makes you think. So in this predestination type context is that if I walk the narrow path, the end of this road, this path, kind of what you're saying when you're being led by the Holy Spirit, right? well, let's just read what it talks about. Because the narrow is the gate and difficult is the way which leads to life. So
Mhm.
it leads to life, which is Christ, right? 'Cause
Mhm.
Jesus is the truth, the life, and the way. So if I walk this narrow pathway, whatever this narrow pathway may be,
Mhm.
it leads to me to life.
Yeah.
So is that like in its way predestined to live
Well,
in
you're
life?
not gonna really be taking no lefts or no rights or anywhere because
Right.
the path is so narrow.
So
It's either you're going straight or you're taking a hard down. That's what it
true.
is.
So could it be that the path that we choose to walk is destined or predestined?
See, there it
See?
is.
So
There
it's
it
kind of like
is.
if you walk the path of righteousness, you're obviously predestined to do,
Yeah.
or you're destined to do righteous things, and
Mhm.
and the result of you being righteous
Yeah.
means that you're holy, and God is well pleased, and He'll welcome you as a faithful servant.
Very
But if
true.
you're walking a path of destruction and evil, well, there's no other thing but to say you're destined or you're predestined in
Mhm.
that walk uh, to hell, which that's the judgment that God will give to those who don't turn away from that.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, I guess it almost works that you could use the predestined, but
Yeah.
not. But I guess the problem is when people say I am predestined. Well,
Mm.
nah, you ain't predestined. The path you choose is predestined.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could
Yeah,
that be like a changing factor?
Mm,
I don't know.
I don't know. Well, to say, okay, because a lot of people say automatically in the beginning, they're like, predestination applies to everybody. And they put it an effect on everything they do. You know, like, oh, we were predestined to do this, or we were predestined to this, that, and this. I don't agree because God also gives us free will.
Yeah.
And we have the choice. We have the choice. But the thing is, we choose to listen to the Holy Spirit.
Right.
So that
And
is our
obey
free.
His voice.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And that's our choice to do that. And that whenever we take that free will and put our free will towards listening to what the Holy Spirit says and listening to what God has to say in our lives, that's whenever that path, that predestined path for us is already involved.
Yeah.
Don't get us wrong, guys. We're not trying to say like, oh, predestination, No.
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 Well, it almost has a little thought to it, right? So if you think that you're predestined, that means that whatever comes into your mind
Mhm.
is obviously something that you're gonna do, and you don't need no judgment on your thoughts. Like,
Mhm.
for instance, I'll go a little absurd. Like suicide, right?
Mhm.
Someone's like, I walked to this bridge. Well, I have a thought to jump, and I guess I'm destined to jump, so I should jump. But no responsibility kicks in, no discernment, no logic kicks in.
Mhm.
So, but then you have the will to do that, to jump off or not,
The free will.
And what's interesting is that devil himself, he offers things to us. If we're already predestined, it's like a rigged game, basically.
So what's the point of predestination at that point?
Literally. So I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
If there's people who believe in predestination,
This is for all you people.
was
alright?
Christ predestined to what he did?
Yes.
Could
You know
have
why?
he-
You know why?
huh?
You know why I say that?
I know why, but I'm just and why I phrase that question is because if Christ decided not to complete the will of the Father, so notice it was the
Then it wouldn't have effect on him.
okay.
Then
So-
that predestined path that he took wasn't affected. So basically, we're not basically using predestination correctly. Because
Right.
predestination is something that applies for everybody, so we need like a different word to it. So basically, it would only be God's will.
Yeah.
So
pretty
we
much,
would be
'cause then
following
that'd be
under God's
biblical.
will. That would
Yeah.
be biblical. But that's the thing. Like when people say predestined, I'm taking that word literal. Like that's
Right.
because I am under God's will,
Yeah.
and that's how I fall. And so yes, I do believe that
Yeah.
Christ was predestined because he himself, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
And he said, I have finished my work or finished
Right.
my path, whatever
What
he
his
says.
Father sent him.
Yeah, to why his father sent him to do on this earth.
Right.
So he knew from the very beginning what his job was.
Yeah.
So he prepared, and that's 3 years he prepared the
Yeah.
disciples, and from there it was
Very true.
he knew what he was doing.
Well, kind of like Paul, right? God
Yeah.
told him what he needs to do. He found his purpose, his will,
Mhm.
and I guess not a lot of people even know their purpose in life. Alex, our youth pastor, preached about this couple
Yeah,
Fridays
or
ago.
purpose.
Right? So like, so maybe people don't know their purpose. So when they come to their life end, do they answer like Jesus or Paul or someone
Mhm.
else who like, I have finished everything what you've done. And isn't that
Mhm.
amazing to say you finished the will of the Father?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, you know, but here's another question. Uh, does the evil spirits or devil or demons, are
Mhm.
they predestined by their actions that they choose right now, like present time? Like for instance, we know that they've fallen, and they chose to rebel. They chose in that life, and God doesn't give no aid to them, and they're gonna go to hell, for the lake of fire, the serpent of the old and the beast. We all know that stuff. But right now, present time,
Mhm.
the tempter, which is devil, the lie, father of all lies, is he predestined today in present time to tell me the thoughts that I would lust over?
Hmm.
Because then that means that even evil spirits are, they don't choose how they're gonna tempt us. So God controls them how he's gonna, but God doesn't tempt us. You see what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah.
So then you're getting into a field of a whole lot of explanation to do for your
Yeah, yeah.
one little verse that people choose, like how the pastor took this verse today, and he's like, people build their whole doctrine on one
One verse. One verse.
and then everything else that goes around it, it's
It doesn't work. Yeah.
it's just
It doesn't
wash
apply.
it.
Yeah. It doesn't apply. Um, but yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting thought. Um, but yeah, to
You
all
gotta
those
ask
people.
those people who believe in it, because
Yeah, 'cause
I didn't even know how to answer that question to those people
Yeah.
who believe in predestination. Because it's, how do the evils, like, who manipulates the evil spirits? So if God manipulates the evil spirits
Uh-huh.
to accomplish His will, so He's gonna force the devil to do stuff, then God basically uses the evil on us
Mhm.
and the good on us. So it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I'm gonna make the devil come to you. I mean, he
Hmm.
allows the devil to tempt us to however measure he pleases,
Mhm.
but he doesn't send the devil to us.
Yeah.
And there's many biblical truths. But I like how you explain it. Like, if you
Well-
listen to his voice and you walk, that.
Yeah. But the thing is, a lot of people they don't choose that because I was like, I agree with the word, and pastor's like, yeah, I'm gonna be preaching about it, and I'm like, yeah, well, I kind of believe in it, and he's like, what? He's like, this is for you, and then he's saying this sermon. I'm like, that, like everything makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand what's the whole like. I don't know where I'm falling under this, and then I really thought about it. I'm like, well, this is what I believe in. If this predestination people build their whole doctrine around it, then that's
Yeah.
not really good.
Yeah. Because
But
the pastor talked about the whole predestination, about feeding the hungry and feeding those. Like,
Yeah.
so if you neglect, those kind of Bible verses where you don't feed or you don't help out, or, whether it's clothing and all that stuff,
mhm.
that basically, and the result of that person being thrown into the lake of fire,
Yeah.
how does that even work in predestination? So
Mhm.
it's, or,
Yeah.
once saved, always saved type deal. It's also another.
Yeah, another заблуждение. Book of heresy.
Seriously.
Anyways, guys, so there you have it.
Hopefully
you guys,
they got their answer.
Yeah, I hope you guys got your answer. If you guys actually want to hear more into depth on what exactly this predestination stuff is, take a listen to our pastor's sermon. It's going to be on YouTube, on this YouTube channel. So you guys can take a listen to it, see what you guys think. But basically summarizing it is that predestination is not good. If you guys believe that you're
Doctrine of
always
demons.
predestined, yeah. So I don't know, guys. If you guys have any more questions, I believe that if you're under God's will and you're in His will, your path is basically narrow, and He leads you in His path. So
Yeah.
that's basically it. That's what I believe in, that the word predestination is. So if you guys ever want to talk about it, if you guys want to like maybe shoot us a message or something, asking us a question, maybe we'll answer it for the next podcast or next show. So guys, don't forget we are doing youth services on Friday. And then Saturday we're going to be actually doing work at the church. So if you guys have a desire to work or doing stuff, you guys do not forget to, go help out.
Yeah.
And Sunday, 11 a.m. we have service. And Monday, cannot keep saying this more than enough, home groups. If you guys desire to be in a home group and to just be in the Word, please, 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 please contact us, and we will, yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll put you in a home group. And guys, it's just awesome to have you guys. And thank you for listening. You guys are amazing. Thank you, Paul, for joining me again. Yeah, it's always fun to talk to somebody and just to like kind of see what's going on. But God bless you guys. We're praying for you guys. And so yeah, cue the video.